Hello. This is session 0 of our new Vampire the Masquerade game, River City Runs Red, run by me. Thank you very much. Only run one other game on this channel, but I'm very excited for this one because you know how much I love Vampire the Masquerade.
Yep.
And I guess before we get into it, I will have my lovely players introduce themselves. Jen, we'll start with you.
It's always starting with me for some
It's
reason.
not always starting with you, but
I'm not lovely, so you gotta start with those first.
Okay, so hi, I'm Jen. I usually go by Anka Mav on social media and stuff. I'm playing Delilah Cole, who is a Nosferatu. That's all you need, I guess, for now. What else could there be?
Whatever. And Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom. I'm also known as Bolthra on this channel, and I am playing Ephraim, aka DJ Blackout, and he is a Malkavian.
Ah, okay.
And Tiara, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, my pleasure to do so. So I am Tiara, and I will be playing Yvain Mallory, a member of Clan Ministry with an e-girl persona.
Love it. Yes, so our game will be taking place in Grand Rapids, Michigan in late 2023, like late November, post Thanksgiving. And I wrote a sort of like little blurb to sort of help set the scene and the setting and all that. And then we can go over any questions and character details and potential chronicle tenets that we want to fill out and all that. Grand Rapids, Furniture City, River City. What started as a small trading post founded by Joseph and Magdalene Laframboise in 1796 is now the second most populous city in Michigan, with a population of nearly 200,000 in the city proper and over 1 million in the whole metropolitan area. The Camarilla has not had a stronghold in Michigan since Detroit fell to the Sabbat in the late 20th century. Tonight, that changes. That is the plan, anyhow. Over the past 5 years, Prince Kevin Jackson of Chicago and Prince Mark Decker of Milwaukee have been collaborating to get a court established just across Lake Michigan in the city of Grand Rapids. Tonight...
Uh-oh.
Oh no. A transmission from the moon is always tricky.
I saw buffering happening, so I stopped talking. Tonight, Prince Rosalind Wolfe calls her court together for the first time. There is bound to be pushback from the local anarchs, and perhaps even the Hecata on the city outskirts could be cause for concern. It will be an uphill battle, but if any get in the Ivory Tower's way, Prince Wolfe will ensure that River City runs red with their blood.
I like it.
Sort of setting the stage.
So
it's all starting out.
So it is a Camarilla city then.
Well, technically it's an anarch city, and the Camarilla have just gotten their foothold into the downtown area.
Okay. So they're encroaching.
Yes, they're encroaching on anarch turf.
So our characters are considered anarchs then?
No, you are considered, you have all sort of been a part of the laying the groundwork, whether it be by yourselves or with associates in like Ephraim and Delilah's cases. They have people close to them who have been like tied towards getting the Camarilla set up in downtown.
Okay.
And so you are considered Camarilla kindred, but there is a bit of wiggle room if to sort of like do something with that, because I do plan for there to be well, I will say that after this sort of like grand reveal that, hey, we've been sort of building ourselves up for the past 5 years and we're just here now, is that one of the barons, there are 3 of them, one of the barons, he is not necessarily more receptive to the Camarilla just showing up out of nowhere, but he is more willing to like negotiate to ensure that if they do end up getting the upper hand, he doesn't lose any of his ground. Like, if he's hoping to like work something out, and if the Camarilla ends up falling, then all the better. So he will have at least one emissary I plan to have show up at court, and could potentially be more than that, but there's only one planned one at this point in time.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
So, is there any character detail questions or anything like that that people are curious about?
Did you want us to kind of give a summary of like who we're playing and that kind of thing?
I'd say that would be helpful. You can get into as much or as little detail as you like for just what you think would be helpful to know going into it ahead of time, and then you can keep whatever dirty little secrets you want to yourself.
Okay.
Mhm.
You want to start, Jen?
Your
Me? Okay, I'll start.
turn.
Yes, I made Jen start last time.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Well, again, I'm playing Ephraim. He is a young man, probably appears about his 20s, early 20s. He is Malkavian. He was always a bit selfish before the embrace. His sire had chosen him because she had seen he had a sway over people. He had kind of a small following at a club he was working at. She chose him really just almost as a test. The embrace broke his mind, and he went from being selfish to full-on narcissism. He is, in his worst moments, he is absolutely delusional, thinking the world does revolve around him. He is completely different than myself. So I've never played a selfish character before, so he will be a challenge to play. His predator type is Osiris. So he basically has worshippers. There's some girls at the club who they're also his herd for feeding.
Oh, wow.
He's very big on getting other people to do things for him. His motto would be, "Can't someone else do it?" So he tries his best to be very manipulative, and relies a lot on auspex and dominate and presence to not only get people to do things for him, but also get himself out of trouble. I think he's going to be fun to play. He's going to be a challenge for me because I've got to be a jerk to play him. So when we get to talking about chronicle tenets and things like that, I kind of have some ideas. Depending on what everyone's playing, then we can obviously kind of go from there. But just he is not above using someone to get what he wants. So so that's probably enough about Ephraim for right now.
All right, and we can definitely get into chronicle tenets once we like go over everyone's characters and all that.
Sure.
Jen, would you like to talk about Delilah a little bit?
Yeah, Delilah is a former junkie. She would take any drug possible, and that's mostly what killed her. But then her sire found her. She didn't know he was following her around or who he was or anything, and now she's a Nosferatu. And yeah, she's her predator type is farmer, meaning that she'll go after rats and things because it's more ethical than humans and probably cleaner. And so she's not going to do any of that. Let's see what else.
Yeah, doesn't like that yucky human blood.
Yeah,
More
it's
for
just
me.
not as ethical. I mean,
Mhm.
a rat is a rat. They'll make
Yeah.
more quickly. So let's see what else. She's pretty strong. She's got a pretty good amount of athletics because that's just a Nosferatu thing, is my understanding of that. She's often going to libraries for more information to see what she can learn from things and who might need it or who might not need it. That kind of stuff. That's about it, really. Oh, and she's 25.
All right, and Tiara, would you like to talk about Yvain a little bit?
Okay, my turn. All right, so Yvain is a very interesting character. She is first and foremost non-confrontational. She's a bit of a coward. Um, Very much like she comes off as like a plain kind of bookish type, nondescript, doesn't ever really want to stick her nose into anything, doesn't want to she doesn't want to be the nail that's sticking up and gets hammered down, essentially. So she's very to herself. Um, and honestly kind of tries very hard not to get too wrapped up in the politics going on in the city if she can help it. But she is also a pushover. She's a bit of a doormat. And so simply, she has a kind of like a one-sided adoration for her sire, who is currently in Grand Rapids as well. And she would essentially do anything that he asked her to do. It's often like whether her cowardice or her adoration for him kind of wins out. And then on the flip side of that, she has this alter ego.
Oh.
So Yvain, kind of as to herself as she is, also is a full-time streamer, full-time kind of quotation marks, nighttime streamer, whatever. She's kind of an e-girl, so she has this whole other persona that she dons. So she goes from kind of just, dark brown hair, freckles, glasses, keeping to herself, to bright pastel colored wigs, purple contacts, very bold, cutesy makeup. And she is also an Osiris predator type. And so her kind of following are these very excited fans, essentially, in her streams. And no one knows that she does this. So this is very much like a secret. She keeps those two parts of herself very separate. So yeah, that's a little bit about Yvain.
Yes. As soon as you were like, I'm thinking an e-girl, I'm like, I'm sold. I'm like, tell me more.
I just thought it would be very fun,
Yeah, no, for sure. That's why I was like, I'm very interested. Continue. And we will be having a fourth player, Nanad, who some of you may have seen on other games on the channel, will also be joining us. He will be playing a Toreador by the name of Whisper. Whisper is, I won't go too much into the character because he's not mine to talk about. But sort of like a general idea of him is that he's a bit of an unconventional Toreador. He's less about making art and more about stealing art. And And yeah, he wants all that for himself. And his predator type is Sandman. And that's all I really have on him, without Nanad here to speak about him. So with that, I think we can go on to talk about chronicle tenets and what we think might be good for this chronicle going forward, based on each other's characters. Because the general idea of chronicle tenets, for those who don't know, are to sort of like help keep both like help keep your humanity level higher by, when you do things that may incur stains, them along with your convictions can help mitigate those stains by justifying your actions. And similar, the inverse of that is if you go against your convictions or chronicle tenets, then you can incur stains by breaking those. And so, if sort of like going into this idea of new kindred in a, well, some of you are much newer than others. Some of you have been around a hot minute, but kindred in a new city, sort of like encroaching on already claimed territory, sort of like, so what do we think might be a good idea for some chronicle tenets? Tom, you were talking about how you had an idea or two.
I think we all sound like fairly high humanity, just offhand. So,
yeah, I don't think any of you are lower than 7. So yeah, pretty high humanity.
Yeah. So generally, probably leaning towards not killing people. That doesn't mean we can't hurt them. Doesn't mean we can't. And that's where it's going to come into that line. Is there a difference between killing someone or breaking their mind and leaving them, and that's where I think like we're higher humanity, so probably not killing people unless it's self-defense or generally with feeding, you're not trying to drain them dry.
I have a question about that.
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
Because I was thinking about this yesterday. And so would it count as breaking it if you did not kill the person, but you got someone else to do it? I feel like, is that fair game, or is it like, what you did?
I think I think it
feels kind of gray area, right?
It's definitely gray area for sure. Because it's like, I didn't do that. That's not on my conscience. That's on that person's conscience. I think in a case like that, it would probably depend on the circumstance, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, because Evane's kind of got some things that are geared towards shifting the blame off of herself onto other people.
Yes, which I love for her. I love that you took that merit.
Yeah, so I feel like she's like, I would never kill somebody. But, my sire said that this person did a thing and he wants me to take care of it. I can figure that out.
Yeah, so it's not really
I just wanted to make sure that that's okay.
Yeah. It's not really me. It's my sire. It was his idea.
It was his idea. The blood wasn't on my hands.
Yes,
there was blood.
Yes, I was just an instrument of his will, is what happened.
That actually sounds.
I completely blacked out. I don't remember a thing.
That sounds like almost like a good way to phrase it. Like, keep your hands clean.
Yes, I like that.
Okay. So it's yeah. I didn't kill them. So I think we have our first one, storyteller. Maybe keep your hands clean.
Mm.
Yeah, I can get on board with that for sure.
Okay.
Keep your hands clean.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone has anything in their past that, you know, I think we all came up with touchstones. I think.
Yeah, so
That
all of you have. Yeah, all of you
I
have at
don't think
least
we want
one
to reveal right
touchstone.
now, right?
No,
Yeah.
I would
Um,
say
yeah.
unless you really want to, but
No,
I
no,
don't
not,
think that's necessary at this point in
not
time.
saying a word around vampires. So, so I mean, I don't have anything in my background that says, like, do not feed from children, or any kind of restrictions from that. I mean, obviously, it's common sense, and running a game, you don't want to do anything that's going to trigger or offend somebody. So I don't think we necessarily have to lay anything like that out. I'm just trying to think like my character and kind of what I've heard from the other players, just guidelines. I don't know. I mean, I know Ephraim and Yvain definitely sound like they're very ambitious. So they definitely sound like they're not above using somebody to get what they want. I don't know how, say, like Delilah feels about
I think she's the only one that's like not like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be the voice of reason.
Yeah. You're either the voice of reason, or you're gonna just learn to accept it. It's just it's just the way we operate.
I think if I remember correctly, Delilah is also the youngest out of everyone. She's like basically like popped out the womb baby vampire.
Yeah, she's 25 and she was dying of whatever drug she'd taken, and then her sire made her this.
Yeah, because when I was going through Delilah's character sheet and I was like looking at that, I was like, oh, she's like brand new. Okay. I'm like, okay, this should be interesting.
Maybe she has more of a reverence or a respect for life.
That's why she's feeding on rats.
Well, yeah, but she may be, more sensitive to, us, just grabbing somebody off the street.
She does also have the highest humanity out of all of the characters.
Okay.
She has humanity 8.
Okay.
I would be fine with a tenet that was, even though it's kind of common sense, that says like harm no children, because I do think that for Yvain, this idea of like do not cause undue harm to the disenfranchised kind of is in the back of her head just because of her background. Okay. So I could see that, but I'm fine with if anyone has something different than that.
I like it. Ephraim's going to have a little bit of trouble with it at times because basically his herd are young adults. They're not children, but they're still So he will be challenged by that, but I welcome that as a player.
And
I think that's also one of those things where there's as kindred, right? There's gray area again, because it's like if I drink blood for them, but then like I give them juice, like they just gave, like they did a blood donation. Is it really harming them? But like, to be fair, the last time I did this, I ran a club where kindred could come and get little juice boxes filled with blood.
I was gonna say I remember like on more
Neurotica.
Than
oh no, he froze again.
He's frozen again.
Yeah.
It's tough playing from the moon. So.
I'll say. But yes, Neurotica. And I will say you may find maybe a reference or two in this game.
Whoa.
You might see some things that are only for Tiara. Only she'll understand them.
Gasp.
But yeah, I remember on more than one occasion, like Belle going up to her office and then just like drinking somebody and then just like handing him some fruit snacks and then a juice pouch
Yes.
afterwards. Be like, yeah, just sit down, take a breather.
Just go sit down, have some fruit snacks, have some water. You're okay.
You'll be fine.
She paid them well. So I
Uh,
would be cool with something like that because again, I think that almost any like tenet we come up with, there will probably be some gray area there, just depending on our storyteller.
yeah. Yeah. I think we can like try and like phrase it in a specific way that
Mhm.
could, given certain circumstances, could be less punishing than others. So if we like phrase it in a way like always protect children or something like that, then maybe feeding from a child, that's not killing them or anything, but also for instance, like if you get into like a certain situation where like a child is like in trouble or potentially in a bad situation or anything like that, then you could potentially use that tenet as justification for whatever you do to that other person who is doing things to this child. So
I was
Okay.
thinking of kind of phrasing it like protect the innocent.
Oh, that's good.
protect the innocent is good. That's a bit more
Because
broad.
that doesn't mean you can't drink from them. I like
Yes.
So,
Okay.
that.
I'd say that sounds like a good second one. If that sounds good with everyone.
So
Protect the innocent.
yeah,
And then what was the first one again?
keep your hands
keep
clean.
your hands clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hands clean.
So I'm gonna just put those on my character sheet right now because.
Yeah.
And it's up to you, Aloysius. I mean, how many we have? I mean, we don't have to have,
Yeah.
a
Typically,
huge list.
I'd say the standard number is 3. We don't need 3. We can leave it at 2 if you guys want, but
2 is fine. Yeah.
all right.
I think things will come to us like as we're playing, and there may be something that we may add in.
Yeah, we can always like make an addendum later on or whatever, and be like, all right.
Or if a big story beat happens that dramatically changes things.
That dramatically shakes the characters to their core and changes who they are as people.
Then it's just like never do anything nice for the prince of the territory or something.
Never do anything for that bitch Rosalind again.
Right. I like that. I like that we have 2, and then maybe we have 1 that can be inferred from what we experience.
Yes. I like that as well.
Okay. Now, convictions, like I have a touchstone for myself, but convictions.
Every conviction should be tied to a touchstone. For however many touchstones you have, you need a conviction tied to that touchstone.
Okay.
If anyone needs an example, I don't mind sharing mine.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Yvain has 2 convictions and 2 touchstones. Her first conviction is always keep your sworn word. And that is tied to her touchstone, Carrie Grant, who happens to be, she was a child in the foster system after her parents died when she was younger, like in a car accident. She also happens to be, unbeknownst to her, Yvain's great-granddaughter. Great-granddaughter, yes. Yvain had a child right before she was turned. So, but never was not in those kids' lives at all because everyone thought she died. And then the second one is always aid women in need. and that is tied to her touchstone, Sana Roland, because Sana helped Yvain out, not knowing she was a vampire, but helped her out when she had a stalking problem. And so she has a very good relationship with Sana, and so is tied to that conviction to always aid other women in need.
All
And
right.
those, yeah.
Yeah, so those are excellent examples of how you sort of connect your touchstones and your convictions together.
I did not. I have a touchstone. It is his ex-girlfriend Jasmine, basically the woman he could not control. And she dumped him before he really even became like a semi-famous DJ. But he's always kind of had this jealousy thing that he watches over her. So the problem with the conviction on that is I had thought about keep your secrets buried because he doesn't want anyone to know about her. So I don't know if that ties in very well with his touchstone.
I mean, I'd say it's probably not the strongest it could be, or like a direct connection to that touchstone, but that's sort of like the angle that you want to take it. Then there's nothing inherently wrong with that conviction either.
I think it's more of a psycho, if I can't have her, no one can have her kind of thing. Yeah, he's an awful person. But so
he was awful before he died.
Oh, he was. He really was not a good person before he died, and his sire just made him a million times worse. So yeah, I guess I kind of have to think about it a little bit. But I think
that's fine.
Yeah, he's kind of watching over her. I don't know if it's every couple nights he goes and watches or some kind of creepy shit like that, or I mean, but that's kind of where I was starting with that. So.
All right. So I don't even know if I've connected the touchstones correctly or not, but one of them is thou shalt not kill, because when she woke up as a vampire, she was like, oh, okay.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. And that's how she, found her sire. Her sire might have been stalking her before. I don't know. Her other one is she's been seeing a human sometimes around her that looks like a former lover, but then she can't find the person. So,
okay. So it's a very passing thing where she's like, she sees this person every once in a while and is like has like flashes of like her life. Okay.
Yeah, that. That's all I got.
I did have a question.
Yes.
If we're at that stage where we can start
go right ahead.
Questions.
Ask away.
Do you anticipate this being more of I don't want to call it a solo game, where, and sometimes in my games, we kind of do a scene with one person by themselves and then a person by themselves, or is it we're going to try to form like a the group does this, does that? Like, what do you kind of anticipate?
So for at the very least, the first session, how I'm going to have it go down is we're going to start out and there's going to be like single scenes with each character, sort of like of them all going through what an average night of their lives looks like before they all convene at Elysium for the sort of like grand debut where the camera like makes its presence like fully known, and where there'll be the prince sort of like declaring what her plans are going forward, and sort of just like the characters like intermingling with each other and like other members of court and that sort of thing. And that's sort of like more or less like how the structure of the first episode's gonna go down. And so I'd say there'll definitely be sort of like solo scenes of characters doing their own thing. But I'm sort of having it plotted out where like the main focus, at least initially, is them like working as a coterie, sort of like just being like schlepped together
I got you.
by
Okay.
the court of being like, all right, you're all together.
Okay.
Go do what I say, kind of
Okay.
deal.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's kind of a selfish character, so but I will try not to derail anything.
Yeah, all good.
But okay. Yeah. I just wanted to ask because he's a jerk. So I'm looking forward to playing him actually. So,
Oh, yeah, why not? Mhm.
okay. That works.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions?
Let me
Don't
think.
know.
So I have one.
Sure.
Yes.
Sorry.
So Ephraim and Delilah are more connected to the Camarilla that are like with helping. You said, are we all connected with helping to lay the foundations for the Camarilla in
I mean,
Grand Rapids?
I mean, you don't have to be, but like Delilah's sire is like a fairly influential Nosferatu in the Camarilla, and Ephraim, while we'll get into that whole like story, but long story short, his sire isn't around anymore, and so a different kindred has sort of like taken him in, and they're also a fairly influential member in the court without like having any like real like title or anything like that. They're just they're like one of those people who like has a lot of sway without actually being like anybody technically important. So you don't have to be tied to the Camarilla. You could like fully be sort of like independent and sort of like seeing how things are shaping up and sort of like wanting to get in on the action, or you could be like an impartial party between like maybe the Anarchs and the Camarilla or some other third party or something like that. That is like totally up to what you would like to do to sort of like for your own character's story.
Okay. I think, sorry, my cat just tried to pull the Xbox cord down.
Oh, no.
Oh, good. That's a relatable feeling.
Yeah. And then he ran away immediately before I could look at him. So I feel like Yvain's probably trying not to be aligned, but I don't. Maybe I'll just talk with you more before our first session.
That's fine.
Just because I'm not really sure where she would fall, especially when she's like, okay, now these two people are here, like these two groups are here, and now I have to pick a side. I don't want to pick a side, but if I don't pick a side, I might die either way.
And
Maybe.
you can always change sides later.
That is
That's
true.
You can.
That is
Dangerous.
true. Because I would say, I believe for her, I believe for her ambition, I put down gain the trust of the ministry hierarchy. So I guess it would also depend on how ministry, if they are aligned with the Anarchs or with the Camarilla, or just doing their own thing.
Yes. I will say, I will say because it's like relevant to your character. In the ministry as a whole, at least within Grand Rapids, are Anarch aligned, but some of them have some double dipping going, not necessarily with the Camarilla, but with a third party that is sort of like serving their own purposes. So
Okay. All right, that gives me some ideas. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
I will say I know nothing about Grand Rapids, so
That's fine.
we're-
I barely know anything about.
Bougie. It's bougie.
It is pretty bougie. It's also pretty gay.
Oh wow.
That is also true. It's also expensive for no reason.
Oh weird. Yeah. I think I've
It
been to
so
Grand
is.
Rapids once because my sister was in a marching band that performed there, but it was a long time ago.
But yeah,
So-
I knew like nothing about Tampa or whatever,
Exactly.
and I played 3 seasons of a game in
Yes.
that, where I'm like, I'm just trusting Tom to take me on a journey.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so you know, so I may be like, he goes to local landmark, and just let you fill in the dots from there. So.
Yes, and then you know there'll like definitely be like real landmarks that are thrown
Sure.
in there, but then there'll also
Yeah.
be like totally made up ones that don't exist in real life, and
Okay.
but
Okay.
you know, that's how it is.
Oh, I had another question. Is this connected to my games, same universe, or completely separate?
I think he froze again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
An awkward place to freeze.
God, I
There
love
you
my
go.
internet
What's
so
the
much.
answer?
Did
What
you
was
hear
the
the question?
question?
Oh, okay. Is this part of the both reverse, or is it completely separate?
My base instinct is to say yes, because I thought of potentially tying it in a way, but I'm not sold
Okay.
100% on doing that yet.
That's fine.
But yeah, I'm like, I don't at this moment in time, there's no reason why it can't be. So
Sure.
I'm
Okay.
like, it's just like in its own corner.
Exactly.
Whereas like Blood in the Water is in its own corner.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just being more of a nerd and just asking. You know.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
get you.
so,
I get
okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just in case a hunter shows up.
Yes. A very specific hunter.
And she may show up in Wraith at some point. Who knows?
Oh my goodness, she gets around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I had.
Yeah.
So
It's a miracle she's not dead yet, honestly.
maybe that's how she ends up in Wraith. I don't know.
Maybe, you know, could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but if there aren't any other questions, then that's all I really have at the moment. And if you know people think of anything, then we can just drop it in the Discord, or you can message me privately or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
It would be so great if I could show up next Friday with like a whole VTuber screen.
That'd be incredible.
That
That'd
would
be
be so
fantastic.
funny.
That'd be neat, yeah.
Her e-girl persona name is Vain Heart.
So
I
good.
thought it was very on the nose and cringing, and I was like, perfect.
It's like perfect. That's the perfect amount of cringe I need for this character.
I will.
She's
I will.
living vicariously through this alter ego, okay?
Well, yeah. My character is DJ Blackout, but I don't expect to see me dressed up. any.
Oh yeah.
I want to be cosplaying in this character.
Yeah, get some like light up headphones and like
There
the
you go.
light up visor sunglass
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, now I'm about to go on Amazon and just buy like a cheap pastel colored wig and just do crazy makeup for next week. I'm ready.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up then, and we'll see everybody next week then. The same bat time, same bat channel.
Okay.
Yep.
All righty.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you.
you as well.
Just hold on for a bit. We'll have a chat once we're off the stream.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All righty. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.